So, aloha. This is John, and this is going to be my first segment is living as self and challenging authority, both as a nod to my design and also one of the big questions that's going to come up around our continued research into this human design system as it was presented by Ra. What I'm going to be sharing with you is not things that Rod didn't say. They're what he said again and again and never quit saying. Okay, so we begin with the challenge. And the real challenge here is, can you set what you think you know about human design aside for just 1 second, guys? Just 1 second. And take a deep look with me here, okay? Because I'm not asking you to believe me. I certainly don't care, nor am I looking for any, whatever feedback or acknowledgement or whatever. I've just been left with this huge question, okay? And it really gets down to the red and the black, and it really gets down to either there's a choice or there's no fucking choice, okay? Now, I've verified that there's no choice for myself. And even the illusion of choice has evaporated, which was another very strange segment in my journey, okay? But what we're dealing with here is these very basic principles. You're this magnetic monopole. I mean, if any of this human design stuff is true, let's just start there, if it's true, okay? You're this red magnetic monopole and design crystal flying through space in a straight line. This is the constant. This is the thing that was designed and built your entire life before you were born, okay? And set on a rail, on a trajectory that's going to keep going until 3 days after you die, okay? Then there's the little black dude, which is your personality, what we call personality, and maybe we should switch it to potential personality or potential passenger in this vehicle, was slammed into this vehicle at the moment of birth. Unfortunately, this little black dude has ended up becoming, influenced by all the minds around it. It's influenced by the open centers, what we call the not self or the false self in human design. It's unstable by design. I mean, it's the unstable part of you, okay? So, it all began with my suspicion of what we've been calling and beating our desk, all of us teachers, and again, please, if not, I don't need you to talk to me about it. I already know my truth here, okay? But, maybe start asking your teachers, or if you're a teacher, maybe take this information in and really hear what I'm saying, okay? I mean, either the body is flying through space in that straight line and it's not up for debate, or it's not, okay? And what we've talked about as authority, I mean, so many people have what we're calling their authorities that are put together by either these kind of cobbled together red and black make the authority, okay? And or they're personality-based or black-based entirely, which again is susceptible to all this pressure and all these different, things that can send it off frequency and have you think you're doing your authority, okay? It was a very suspicious thing to me that I'm one of the few humans that I've met that actually talks about any sense of my body telling me what to do, okay? And more what I heard people talking about their authority just sounded so mental to me and continues to sound mental, honestly, to this day. And then it made sense. It was like, okay, yeah, the black is getting in there. It becomes the instrument of the not self, okay? So now it's under pressure to do the things that we, are the potential lens you're here to see through in human design. So please get it. I'm not saying the black isn't you. I'm just saying the black is highly susceptible, okay? So now I was deeply suspicious about all this. Like, is this really authority, or is this just happening in people's minds? Because until it's a passenger, until it's just a lens you're looking out of, the black is the instrument of the not self. It's what you think you should be doing and how you think you should be doing it, put under pressure by all these other things. It's not just a window you're looking out of. Okay? And then comes Teresa, enter Teresa, who was on the other side of this, researching the red and going, we kept looking for some place like, where did Ra go off on this whole you can do something about the red? I mean, you are the red. So, I mean, those that understand, the human design language, determination, PHS, that's you. It's you. I verified that for myself. I flew all the way to Toronto to have Ra do this silly-ass reading for me. The only part of which he got correct is I was going to challenge him. And yeah, a decade later, it is funny. I'm challenging it. I went and tried to do this red shit, okay? Tried to do it or be it. And, we got people trying to move to where they think No, you are your environment. You are your PHS. You are your determination. All the things that people are telling you you can do something about over on the red. I want you to take another look at it and say, no, this is me. Because there are some strands of truth in the sea of bullshit that came out of that side, okay? And whether Ra was trying to figure it out, he was a deeply strategic man, whether he knew what he was doing or just trying to sell another class, I really don't care at this point. My concern lies with those people that we're trying to get them to go to an authority that is either partially or totally mentally based at first, okay? And you talk about a mind fuck. So, we really started to look back at, so what's holding this whole illusion together? Again, there's this magnetic monopole, single-pointed magnet, holds you together an illusion that you're separate from all other things, okay? It's an illusion. If anything can be changed in here, if anything can be changed, it's simply your perspective on what's happening, from thinking you're doing it to knowing you're not. So enter the tonal quality of the body's cognition, okay? Now, this is where, I've begun, Teresa laughs at herself as well, and I'm laughing, also at all the other teachers. That it was like, you guys were all there. Ross said it, I don't know how many times, you're flying through space in this straight line. There's no choice. He changed it later to some people get lucky, and those of you that got to hear it, strategy and authority is just a parlor trick for your mind, to help it settle down, etc. Okay. But I've really begun adding, because I'm experiential. I need to experiment with things. My design happens to be that, my what is called inner authority is all red. So this whole cellular thing that I've been dealing with and being able to recognize a truth in my body, a very specific frequency. This is healthy, John. That is not. Hard. My sense is it's there for all of you, okay? And I'm not saying that the way authority is laid out is absolutely all wrong. I'm saying that if there's any black in what you're calling your authority, it is susceptible, okay? The red isn't. And anybody that thinks you can do anything about the red, you can become aware of it. You can see how it works. But doing anything about it? Again, guys, either there's a choice or there's not. And if there is a choice, this whole system just crumbles, okay? It just crumbles. The whole thing's bullshit at that point, okay? And I hope that at least the people that are able to hear me and even follow what I'm saying can get this. Okay, so you're this illusion that you're flying through space. You're a cell in the human body. Okay. I've begun bringing this tonal cognition in as a way for people to either better access their, what we're calling their authorities now. Again, this is only in the case where there's black involved in what we're calling authority, okay? It's either helping them or the tonal quality of the body itself ends up being a more physically understandable frequency for that human, okay? So many of the people that I've experimented with this information on have found that that tonal quality is the whole deal for them, okay? And this can be found as your body's cognition, okay? You don't need to get lost in the sea of nonsense over there, okay? It can be made very, very simple, okay? But this is where Teresa came. You know, I was very just suspicious about the personality, period. I mean, I just see the white and the black as the not self. Someone shows up on my desk and I know they're under pressure to be the not self, and the thing that's trying to be the not self is the black. And I've seen it and talked to it and heard it from beginners to experts and guys, you know, whatever, you know, everyone's got their trip, everyone's got their movie. I'm not asking you to believe my bullshit. I'm not trying to sell you on my brand of BS. I'm saying, please take a look for yourself. I mean, we have everyone out there just regurgitating what Ross said, but no one seems to remember. He said, this is an experiment. I'm a messenger. I'm just trying to help people get to their body awareness. Like, okay, how does it really work in your body? And if the authority, the way it's presented or generally presented, even by me, you know, I learned it. I learned it from the world of human design, okay? I repeated what I was taught. Then I learned it in frequency. And then when I came back and started looking back at the information, I mean, really, where I could just read everything in frequency, anything that's been processed by the mind, basically, I don't trust. Whatever happens before mind, I trust. It's simple, okay? And that will include your personality, okay? But anything that's been processed by the mind first, fuck, I don't trust it, period, okay? It just sounds like nonsense to me. It's almost a frequency I can't discern anymore as a projector, okay? And I know I'm shoving your head through the window right now, or probably a lot of people's heads through the window. It's like, no, the thing that you guys have been saying is my personality or my outer authority is just what you think you think. And we're talking about your entire life in your bioform and how it was designed to take in the life, how it was designed to fly through space versus this little diseased part of your mind. And I really am saying diseased part of your mind that thinks it thinks. And the first thing it thinks is something's wrong and it needs to be fixed. Added to that, all the not self, false self pressure, the transference off of its base motivation or frequencies. If you know these words in human design, if you don't, it's okay. It's just like your mind goes off frequency. It's not even seeing things clearly. It's not taking them in clearly. And then you add human design to it, and everyone's out there just gobbling up more and more information. Well, Teresa and I are down here at the absolute base of this construct. And guys, as I'm saying this, there's little tears in my eyes. It's like human design has been turned into this new age self-help, marketplace-driven, how to be better, make money, make whatever with your fucking human design instead of this beautiful art of your body is smarter than your mind. The only thing you might be able to do, is be able to have your mind relax and enjoy the ride. And then you could have bandwidth for true awareness, okay? But awareness is also, you know, way, way overrated, guys. I mean, if I could just give you a little glimpse of where I live. and how little things actually matter. Not that I don't have chaos and shit going on constantly. It's life, okay? But there's nothing left. I mean, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to be. There's nothing to want. I mean, it's the end of basically everything the mind holds precious. And so again, I understand how enticing, all the high sugar content stuff is out there. You can get better, you can be better, you can whatever better. If they are saying that, they don't even understand what they're selling, or they certainly don't possess what they're talking about, okay? And anyone that thinks that you can do anything with this has basically just said to you, they don't even know what they're talking about. So my deepest concern is really not even for the frequency-based authorities, and I just mean the ones that, for me, I let go of all the nonsense that was taught about authority that are other than the major ones a long time ago, and said, look, if you can't hear it as a frequency, it ain't you, okay? So those are of less consequence. But man, the emotional people, when we're saying, that emotion is either, and for Teresa, this is really true, because, I mean, and it's Teresa Blanding, she wrote the Rave ABCs manual. We have now rewritten it to include tonal cognition, okay? How does the body take in information? And then how do we incorporate that with the existing structure, which, we know isn't going to be torn to pieces, but, or I doubt what I'm saying here is going to be well received by most of the people that are deeply invested in selling whatever, okay? But I'm not invested in selling whatever. I'm here to challenge. And it really is the funny thing that the only thing that Ra really got, and I flew all the way to Toronto. He did this silly ass reading about the red for me. I ran around and tried to do it on a couple of different occasions. And all I know is it was a frequency of me trying to do something again. Something that I had taken almost a decade to untrain myself to do. Okay? Now I can look at the truth of it. As myself, I can see the truth. For Teresa, she's got an all red MG body with black emotions. She has verified for herself. Hey, it's just my mind that's emotional. We're not saying there's not a life force there. We're not saying those centers aren't defined. We're just saying it's showing up in your head. So, again, my biggest concern is for the emotional people. Is there, this waiting, this waiting thing, and we're already susceptible to the mind, and, we're trying to give you something to free yourself from a mind, from the entity, as I like to call it now. I don't even call it the not self. I call it the entity. And for me, it includes the black now, because that's the instrument by which you think you're doing something. And it is under pressure. And please hear me. But Teresa's all red body with all black, no red in her emotion, just black, life force. She's like, John, it's just my mind that's emotional. And it took her 22 years to figure this out. And then we've gone through the last, we went through 20 years of Ra's work. Actually, I take a little liberty. Teresa went through it, okay? I experimented with it. She's the researcher. I'm the crash test dummy. It's a very simple relationship. It's a beautiful relationship. She's only concerned with verifying her own truth, okay? And for her, she's come to the conclusion, it's just, hey, John, it's just my mind that's emotional. My body just moves when it moves. And she actually knew it the first time Ra did her reading, okay? It did take me a while to figure out, hey, if you can do anything about the red, then this whole thing falls apart, okay? And I know how much candy is out there. And I know that the high sugar content sells and will continue to sell, whether it's a certificate or a better this or a better that or whatever, okay? Guys, I'm not asking you to believe anything. I'm not asking you to trust anything. I'm asking you to look hard for yourself. And if you're going to be part of what Teresa and I are going to be discussing in this Living as Self series, you are going to need to know a little human design, okay? Because as much as I can put this into some fun little parables, yes, you're this red body flying through space with this little black thing that thinks it's doing something until it's free. It's just another not self entity. It is essentially part of what is commonly known as the false self, not self, or the human ego in other traditions, okay? It's what you think you are and who you think you should be and what you think you should be doing, okay? Now, when Teresa speaks, it's dense, guys. It's dense. I mean, some of the PDFs of her research I've had to read have melted my brain. And I wish we could point to one place in time where it's like, okay, here's where Ra said it. But guys, Ra never quit saying it. From the time he started to the time he died, he never quit saying it. So I don't know who dropped the notebook. And I know he needed a strategy. I mean, I know he's a strategic man, but I hear that he was just the messenger and that we weren't here to believe any of this nonsense, okay? I'm just asking you to take a close look for yourself and verify this for yourself. And, if it helps you, great. If it makes you more confused, well, then you were already confused. And if you can't verify this stuff for yourself, then what are you doing? You've locked onto another belief system, so it's immediately all bullshit in my world. And it's real simple for me, guys. I just look in people's eyes. And if they think they're doing it, they've got nothing for me. Nothing. It's just simple, man. It's simple. And this beautiful art, I think this is the most beautiful thing on the planet. It's so precious to me. It's so dear to me. I feel very protective of it. It's given me my life. It's given me the ability to endure the chaos that is my existence. But if you're going to follow us on this trip, man, you're going to have to loosen your grips on the wheel. You're going to understand. You're going to have to come to understand that not only are you not in charge, you were never in charge. And when that happens, and when that flip, and there is a mutation that actually occurs in the mind from thinking you're doing it to knowing you're not, oh boy, does the discussion really changes then. And the nothingness, where everybody wants some things or wants more or better or faster or whatever. They want more, something, or a better something. And something's wrong and it needs to be fixed. When all of that's gone, oh boy, is there another discussion to be had? A real discussion among the few of you that can verify for yourself your own truth and speak as your own authority on this system or anything else for that matter. Because, guys, no belief is true. And so if you're getting rid of old beliefs and just replacing them with human design beliefs, please understand that's most of what I'm dealing with these days. Is trying to undo what people think about their fucking human designs. And I do train people. And I am here 7 days a week. But I'm only one human. And I've got no time for idiots. And Teresa, God bless her, has got even less. So, we don't expect any wide acceptance, nor are we looking for anybody to agree with us. But this is going to be our living as self. We're going to really be looking at the tonal cognition of the body, how the body flies through space, and the silliness of everything that we've been calling personality and calling into question the validity that we've just excused, even channels within human design. I can see how easily the mind gets involved if there's black, okay? Life force may be a different thing, but if there's black involved, I used to think it was a gift. Now I think it's a detriment. It just means the mind can be involved. Now, it doesn't matter. You're still all perfect. There's nothing wrong with any of you. But especially those of you that find yourself as design reflectors, or when you take the black away, your authority changes. That's what we're asking you just to look at and verify for yourself. Is the black really your authority? Or is that just you thinking you're doing your authority? And there's nothing to believe, and we need no agreement. And I hope that's enough of a disclaimer to keep your stupid questions off my desk. Okay? On that note, have a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day here in Hawaii. But many long journeys have I been on, guys. Many long journeys. And the nonsense continues. Every day I get up and I fight with the most dangerous entity on the planet, the human mind. And if I can only deal with one human today, then so be it. That's my fate. I can deal with one human a day. That's it. And any projector trying to teach to a group or anything, I'd take a look at that, guys. It's really stripping you of your superpowers. Okay. I don't, if you want to lecture, I may lecture, but to really get to someone, to be projector, please take a look at that. And for those of you that think you need whatever to get to your authority, somebody else or all that, we're trying to bring empowerment back to you, okay? Not dependency. You don't need questions. You don't need someone to fucking talk to. Dude, you got yourselves. You're perfect. Your minds are all fucked up, but that's a human problem. Okay, enough. Or do I even know when enough is enough? A question I have to ask myself continually. Aloha.